I'm concerned about the whole idea of a one-party system from the viewpoint of our motto, freedom, liberty, and justice for all. And the issue of the passing of the Declaration of Human Rights in the early 50s, as you told us.
40s, sir.
40s, rather. So it would seem then that from that time onward, there should have been a drastic change in our policies towards a more open and transparent system of government as compared to a closed one-party system of government. So I was just concerned about, whether you would like to shed light on this issue, because we noticed, for example, from I think it was around the early 50s, 40s to the 50s, the three-party-led government systematically eliminated its competition. Situations like Detour having to leave, situations like Coleman being killed, etc. And then from that time onward, they ruled supreme for over 16 years with no competition. So I don't know how that would have fared well for the creation of a more transparent type of system. And therefore, seeing the reality of what happened in the 70s and the 80s with the progressives and their sort of violent concern for change, it would almost seem that it was justifiable. So as one of the key leaders and heads of this party, even I noticed your original platform was the weeks representing We Hope in God. And you had also said that you are a man who put God first, nation next, and family last. So third, yes.
Last.
So as we put all this together, I don't know whether you want to share with us something on this issue. I don't want to be more specific, but to leave it more with you. It would just seem that there was a contradiction here.
Sir, I think I answered you already. I answered you when I spoke of this entente cordiale. Okay?
Anti what? That word, please.
The entente cordiale. Or that I spoke of earlier, which your colleague had allusions to also. I answered that the situation in Liberia was such that in those days we gave away our foreign policy decisions to the United States, and in compensation for that, she turned a Nelson's eye on whatever happened domestically in this country. And you never heard American or anyone else talk about violation of human rights. No matter who they sent to Belayala, who they sent to BTC or what have you, you never heard anyone mention anything about it. As long as we sang their song, they looked the other way.
So then those who were in the party as the key supporters of Tubman's ideal were also in a sense puppet people? I mean, you didn't have any way of personally realizing that this was wrong and pushing for a difference, or was it just that the fact that the ends justify the means? Or I'm trying to understand why there was no internal revolution in a sense to bring that change instead of allowing the process to reach the dead end and death that it did go to.
I really don't know the extent of Tubman's education, his formal education. But Tubman was a man who had the psychology down to a science. Tubman would divide families. Take one member of a family and treat them very well. And the other member of that family, God bless him or her. And what he did also was to set up. You see, you will find that from the advent of the Tubman's administration, Liberian businesses went in a decline. So that we did not have men of economic strength and means in this country. You know, there were a few people before then. There was a Parker on the Cement Hill there. There was a James York. There was a William Dennis, you know, and a couple of other people that had businesses. But those businesses, for some reason or other, they folded. And you found no men of substance in this country to challenge Tubman. Okay? I'm not going to tell you the story of my own father. You can read it. Okay? Who was Tubman's vice president. Okay? But everyone who tried to rise was emasculated. And then what he did also, he developed this system called public relations officers. And it was a sort of, quote unquote, personal social welfare, where he gave to whomsoever he wished this monthly check, be it how small it was, and to gain and retain the loyalty of that particular person. And it worked. It worked. You know, it worked until, you know, after his demise, then Tauber cut it out and said, no, you have to work to get paid. You have to work to get paid. And then they said, oh, Tauber was mean-hearted, mean-spirited, because he said we have to work to get paid. And sir, that particular trend that was set up by Tubman has been one of the greatest deterrents to progress in this country. One of the greatest deterrents, because the average Liberian man always wants something for nothing. He wants to see how he can get something in his pocket or in his stomach, you know, without working or paying for it. And that is one of the problems that confronts us today, one of the problems that we will have to find some way to resolve, where the average man will get up and be willing to work a normal day for a normal wage. You know? I know first we've got problems here. We've got, I'm sure, about 85% unemployment in Liberia today. You know, every day I come, I walk the streets, I see this, I almost want to cry. To see how so many people in the country are still suffering. And will continue to suffer, you know. Yesterday I was asking, I said, oh my God, why don't they reopen the logging business? You know, that if, for example, 50,000 Liberians are employed in logging, all right, then their extended family, if it's 5, then you get 250,000 people who will be able to gain from that. But we're still waiting for them to reopen the logging sector. And we have all these people here looking for jobs, and there are no jobs for them. But I'm just hopeful that when the time comes and these jobs are available, that they will go and work at honest day, work for honest day's dollar.